been a while. I haven't recorded a video in months, but it doesn't matter. We're here now. And, I was sitting, I was thinking, I was like, man, every main character has to go through his training arc. And, man, I tell you, we've been grinding, we've been training, we've been putting in the work, we've been putting in the hours, and we're going to take what's ours type shit. The niggas still on that shit with The Rock. Man, I'm so far out of the loop. Anyway, so I got a few things I want to talk about. But first, let me just give y'all a quick update on my life. Uh, you know, just been chilling, you know, learning. I'm going to school, um, living, you know, just trying to challenge myself in every way that I can, trying to push myself to become a better person every single day. My self-improvement journey has never stopped. In fact, I feel like after I stopped recording, I was actually able to focus more on becoming who it is that I want to be. And the reason why I feel like that is because I felt prior to me stopping, when I was recording my self-improvement, I feel I was only doing certain things for the sake of being able to record it and putting that out. And then outside of what I was recording, I was doing nothing else, right? So I might have recorded like a 30-minute clip of me reading or something. And then after that, I was just chilling on my phone, right? I wasn't being authentic. I was putting on a show, and it was showing in the lack of growth that I actually had. And by me being able to step away and take time to really figure out who it is that I am, I feel I've come to a place finally where I'm at peace. I know who I am, and I can kind of carry myself in that manner. I was performing, and I'm no longer performing. Now I could just be me. So that's what my life has looked like over the past couple of months. Really just trying to push myself in every area that I can to live towards my edge, to be my fullest self, and to create the person that it is that I want to be. So with all of that said, I want to go ahead and I want to talk about a few things, right? I've been doing a lot of learning. I'm picking up a lot of knowledge in this past couple of months. I'm doing a lot of reading. I've been growing spiritually. I've been growing mentally, emotionally, financially. Like, I've taken time truly to put in some time to make improvement, right? Rather than trying to record myself as I'm improving, I've been doing the work and I've been improving. And I can see it. The people around me can see it. The people I've never met before that I meet, they can see that this person knows who he is. I've taken time to figure out who is my authentic self. And that leads me kind of into what it is that I want to talk about today. So lately I've been on a philosophy binge. I've been just really deep into philosophy. I don't know what it is about it, but it fascinates me. I feel like I learn a lot, I grow a lot, and it kind of is something that I can incorporate into my life and actually use and how it is that I view life and how it is that I carry myself and how it is that, I'm able to interact with other people. And, I feel like anybody could really get into philosophy because we all have a mind, we all have a brain, and we all naturally want to understand how it works. We just don't always know which path to take to get there. So I started with self-improvement books, but I kind of noticed that with every self-improvement book or self-help book that I read, they tend to say a lot of the same things. And with me also reading my Bible, I learned that a lot of the things that you'll get out of a self-help book, it's already written in the Bible on how, how to improve yourself, how to improve your situation and things like that, right? So I wanted something more. I kind of started leaning towards philosophy, and philosophy has been something that's just been fascinating me lately. Now, one book that I'm reading right now is about authenticity. It's about being who you are in a world that wants you to be like everybody else, right? Naturally, through our childhood, we let go of, not necessarily let go of, but we tend to hide who it is that we are behind masks and behind walls because we want to fit in, right? To be outside of the in-group is naturally a scary thing for us because if we look at evolution, right? If we look evolutionarily, when you were outside of the in-group, you were an outcast. That means you have less supplies. You're not given the best picks of the food. You might not get as much water. Nobody's looking after you. Nobody cares about you. So you might be quicker to die off when you're outside of the in-group. And our brains haven't shifted very much. It obviously has evolved in the time since then because we live in a different environment now. We live in a different world, and our brains are very plastic. They adapt. but we still have a lot of the same natural processes that we did at that time, right? So when it comes to being left outside the group, it's a scary thing. It's a scary feeling. And so naturally, we incline towards letting go of pieces of ourselves so that way we can fit in to the puzzle, right? This is what they call FOMO, or fear of missing out. We even deal with this now as adults when we're on social media, whether, you're scrolling, you keep scrolling, even though at times you want to get off. The reason why you keep scrolling is because that next video might be the one that makes you laugh. That next video might be the one that gives you some new information. That next video might be the one that tells you about your friend, such and such, right? Your next video might tell you something. And you fear missing out on that next piece of information, that next content. So you just keep swiping. They use this to their advantage. And these are like big corporations that acknowledge the fact that our brains are molded like this. So if we're able to acknowledge the fact, or if they're able to acknowledge the fact that our brains are like this, then we can too, and use it to our advantage, right? So because of this fear of missing out, we tend to hide pieces of ourselves so that way we can fit into the puzzle of society. And in doing so, we tend to hold ourselves back. This creates an inauthentic self, right? And we feel inauthentic, but to be authentically you, to be who you are at your core, is more terrifying. And at times, seems like it'll be more painful than actually just accepting and fitting in, right? Even for me, this is something that I've struggled with a lot in my life, where I feel like I've always had different ideals, different values, different morals than the people that I was always around. And as I grew older, I tended to let go of these things, right? Because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part of the group. So I never really was a party goer. I never really liked going out to clubs, things like that. But at times I would make myself go to these places because the people that I was around, I wanted to be a part of that group. I wanted to be a part of that fun that they were having. But for me personally, it just wasn't my idea of fun, right? So I might go and I might enjoy myself, but not as much as I would enjoy myself doing something else, right? Or drinking. I don't like drinking too much. I'm just not heavy on it. I grew up around drinking. For me, I only saw alcohol as something that causes problems. So growing up, I just always told myself, I'm gonna stay away from alcohol, right? But at times I let go of that and I drink, even though I know it's something that I don't personally like to do, because I want to be a part of the group. I have that fear of missing out. I want to be a part of the action, right? Smoking, for a long time, and I want to say like all the way through high school, maybe except for once when I was like 17, 18. All the way through high school, I didn't smoke. I'd been offered it, I've seen it, I was around it. I never did it because I always told myself, I don't want nothing to do with that, right? But eventually you cave into the pressures of society when you see it everywhere. I saw it on my Instagram. I saw it, on my TikTok. I saw it on my YouTube. I saw it in the music. I saw it in the people that I was around. I saw it in my family. So for me, it was like, well, why not? Might as well try it. And it plunged me into this place of deeper inauthenticity, actually. For me, it was like when I was smoking, I had lost slowly over time pieces of myself and replaced it with smoking, everything smoking. Like, I just let go of pieces of myself. Now, that's not to say that this is everybody. Everybody has different experiences with different things, but for me, this is what it caused. I stopped taking interest in the things that I always did. I started taking on the interest of other people around me. I let go of who I was and what my values were, what my morals were, for the sake of being a part of or pleasing the people around me, okay? So, with that said, we do this, and a lot of times it's unconscious. We don't recognize that we're doing it, right? Now, this book, it talks about this, and it shows you how to actually escape that mindset, or rid yourself of the masks and the walls that you put on and put up, so that way you can go down to the deepest part of your being, to your core, and be who you are and live freely, right? This is something that I believe we all somewhat crave, right? And it's shown. We all gravitate towards people who are authentically themselves. When you see somebody who is unapologetically themselves, when they're so authentic that other people's opinions don't matter, we gravitate towards these people. We make these people famous. The most famous people in the world, especially on in the social media age, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, these people are the people who are authentically themselves and unapologetically so. So we gravitate towards these people, and that alone, it shows that we desire authenticity. We want to be authentic to ourselves, but that fear, that fear holds us back. So we stray away from it, right? Now this book, it brings up the point of when you want to be authentically yourself, authenticity is a concept. It's a mind frame, right? Because realistically, who we are has always been created by the people around us. Our values are shaped by the family that we had, by our parents. You know, our interests are shaped by the friends that we had growing up, or the friend groups that we were around, the social circles. You know, our dislikes were shaped by the things that we saw as we were raised and as we got older and things like that. So we're naturally already shaped by our environment, right? But to be authentically yourself, you have to create the person that you want to be, right? You're not just going to find your authentic self. You're not just going to become and blossom into your authentic self. You have to create the person who you want to be, right? So by every single decision that you make, every choice that you make moves towards the person, or moves towards creating the person that you are, right? So I see this beautiful woman, right? And I want to talk to her. I want to go get her number, right? And I decide to lean towards fear, and I don't walk up and get that number. Then that's one choice that goes towards me. Oh, I'm not good at reaching out to people. That's now a part of my personality, right? That's one point towards that section of my personality. The next time I see someone else and I don't walk up, that's another point towards that. And these points, they add up, right? So the more that you add up these points, the more that personality trait becomes prevalent in who you are. But let's say on the flip end, I see that woman, I want to talk to her, I go talk to her and I get her number. That builds my confidence. That builds my ability to do so. And it goes towards the personality trait that I am outgoing and I am able to talk to people, right? Or I'm scared to start that business because what if it doesn't work? So I sit with the idea forever and I never start that business. Well, that goes towards the personality trait of procrastination, right? I want to do something, but I don't do it, so I'm a procrastinator. But if I go out and I do it regardless of the fear of failure, that's one point towards the opposite end of the spectrum. You see what I'm saying? So every decision that you make, every choice that you make adds up into the person that you are, or into the personality traits that you hold within you. Okay? Now, all of that is said to say that you have the genuine ability to create whoever it is that you want to be. Think of it almost as a 2K, My Career, like when you're creating your character build. It's the same thing. You put points towards what abilities you want them to have. I want my dunk to be 85, so that way I get these badges unlocked and these fucking whatever animations, right? Or I put his shooting ability at 90, so that way he can do this, that, the fourth. Or his ball hand, like it's the same thing with your personality, right? View your life in the exact same way, and you can create whoever it is that you want to be. This builds your confidence in your ability to do whatever it is that you desire to do in life, because you begin to recognize that you're a very fluid person. Like I said, our brains are very plastic. They're moldable, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. You can always shift the way that your brain thinks, and it's all about the choices that you make, right? Now, this goes into another idea that the lady introduces in her book, because I think she's like talking about some philosopher. Her name was like Beauvoir, something like that, right? Beauvoir. I don't know. It's French. But the idea of facticity and freedom. Okay, so freedom is freedom, doing what you want, right? Facticity is the things that we can't change, right? So where you were born, the parents that you have, the siblings, your cousins, whether you were born black or born white, whether you were born in Asia or born in North America, whether you are tall or you're short, whether you have brown eyes or blue eyes, whether you have blonde hair or brown hair. These are things that you're born with, and naturally, notice I said naturally, without surgery or anything like that, naturally you can't change these things. These are facticity, right? These are things that are outside of your locus of control, right? Now, freedom comes by overcoming facticity to create what you wish to be facticity, right? I'm gonna say that again, and I want you to get that. If you're taking notes or anything like that, I want you to get that. Freedom is created when you overcome facticity to create into the world, manifest into the world what it is that you wish to be facticity, right? So I am a short guy, but I want to be in the NBA. So I work my ass off to I outwork everyone who's talented. I outplay everybody who's in my way. I work my ass off and overcome the fact that I'm short and I make it to the NBA, right? Or I was born in a low income area, but I want to provide for my family. So I learn everything that I can learn. I put myself in every position that I can put myself. I do everything right. And I overcome that fact and I'm able to provide my family with the life that I wish they had, right? Freedom comes when you overcome the facticities in life so that way you can create what you want to be reality. The Bible talks about this too. You have the power of life and death in your tongue. Truthfully, the things that you say to yourself. Actually, I read this in another book, The Millionaire Mindset. You should check it out, right? So he talks about this process he calls the process of manifestation. And it's 5 letters. I think it's PTFAR, okay? So PTFAR. The programming that you had as a child leads to your thoughts. Your thoughts lead to your feelings. Your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. Okay? So your programming is what it is that you saw as a child. He was talking about money. So let's say growing up, you heard your parents say, oh, money is the root of all evil. Everybody who's rich is evil. You hear these types of things. You receive that programming, and unconsciously that's in the back of your brain. So it's always going to be there whether you recognize it or not. Right? We don't recognize how much of a sponge we are as children, okay? All right, so programming, that leads to your thoughts, okay? So the thoughts that you have every single day, every day, will lead to your feelings, right? Now, if I have a thought and I'm like, oh, I'm low confidence, I can't do this, I can't do that, then I'm going to feel like I can't do it, and therefore I'm not going to do it in my actions. But if I see that woman, I'm like, man, she's fine. Man, I could back her. I could do it. Then my feelings is going to be confidence. And that feeling of confidence will lead to my action of actually walking up and saying what's up. And that action leads to a result. Now, that's not labeling it a good result or a bad result. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. You just got to play the game. But at the end of the day, it's the action that leads to the result, right? And the action is important. So, anyway, power of life and death in your tongue. So the things that you say lead to your thoughts. The things that you hear lead to your thoughts, which leads to your feelings, which leads to your actions, which leads to your results, okay? So, you can create the reality that you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I feel like I'm kind of winding down here. I'm kind of going in a circle. But ultimately, what I want you to take away from this, is that when you want to live a life of freedom, when you want to rid yourself of of fear and of feeling like you're controlled by the society around you, by the people, by the things that you saw or the things that you see or the things that you hear. When you want freedom, because me personally, all I desire in life is to be free. I want to be free from my job, to do what I want. I want to be free from the constraints of society saying that I have to act this way or that way as a man. I want to be like, I just desire freedom. And when you desire freedom, you have to be yourself. And that's only by creating the reality that you want. So when you want change, you make it happen. You do what you have to do to take facticity, overcome it, and create what you wish. Be the change that you want to see. Do the things that's going to get you there. Overcome the feelings and place new thoughts into your head. And watch how it changes the entire process of your life, of everything that you do. And that's all I got for you today. I feel great being back. I love recording videos. I had so much fun preparing for this one. Hopefully I'm going to be back in action, really getting at it. But I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think, and have a beautiful day.